Alright, so these are our next set of notes for solving multi-step equations. Now these are more than two-step equations, so these will take 2, sometimes 3 steps to solve these equations. So we're going to solve multi-step equations here. So this video will show you how to do it, and they're pretty simple using our organizer, our start, changing, or finish organizer. Okay? There are 3 rules that you need to do to be able to figure out how to get your equation into a form that you can solve for the multi-step problem. Okay? The first thing you need to do is you need to look at your problem and determine, do I need to do the distributive property? I need to do the distributive property. That should be the first thing you should ask yourself. And I need to do the distributive property. Okay? That way I can do the distributive property and get it in the correct form. That way I can be able to get my answer correctly, so I can put it in my start, change, and finish organizer. So I need to know, hey, do I need to do the distributive property? Okay? The second thing you need to look for is you need to do something is combine like terms. So maybe if I have no distributive property, I got to combine like like terms. Okay? Maybe I need to combine some terms. Okay? So if first I check for the distributive property. If there is any distributive property, I do it. If there's no distributive property, I see if there's any combined like terms. Okay? Then I combine like terms. Then after I do the combined like terms or the distributive property, then I can use my organizer. I can use my organizer, which is my start, change, and finish. My start, change, finish. Which this is my letter or my variable. This is my equal sign right there. Okay? My start, change, and finish. And usually what I want it to be in, I want to find my equation in a form that looks like this. AX plus B equals C. Where A and B and C are different numbers. Okay? A, B, C are different numbers. Okay? I can get it in this form by doing the distributive property, combining like terms, then I can use my organizer. Okay, so I've got a few problems here that I want to take a look at and have you play around with them. Okay, so here's my first problem. It's 2 times, parentheses, x plus 5 equals negative 11. Okay, so the first thing I need to look at is, hey, do I need to do the distributive property? And yes, this is the distributive property right there. So the first thing I need to do is distribute. So I'm going to do number 1. I'm going to distribute. Okay, I'm going to do the distributive property. So in this case, it's going to be 2 times 1, which is 2x, and 2 times 5, which is 10. So I'm going to have 2x plus 2 times 5, which gives me 10. And that's all going to equal negative 11. Okay? Now I ask myself, do I have to do step number 2? Okay? Step number 2 says combine like terms. Do I have any terms that are alike that I need to combine? No, I don't have any terms there that I need to combine. So I can skip step number 2. Okay? Then I can go straight to step number 3, use my organizer and solve that problem. Start, change, and finish. My start is going to be a plus 10. My change is going to be my variable with that number, 2x. And my finish is going to be negative 11. Okay? Now I can solve by doing the opposite of plus 10, which is minus 10. I'm going to get negative 21. And this is 2x. The opposite of this is that's times. So the opposite of times is divide. And I'm going to get an answer to B. X is going to be 10, negative 10 and a half on my calculator. That would be my answer. Okay? So what I did first, to recap, I checked first if there was any distributive property, which there was. So I did 2 times x, which gave me 2x. 2 times 5, which gave me 10. And I put equals negative 11. I noticed there's no more combined terms, no more distributive property. So I did number 3, which was put in my organizer and solve my problem. And I'm done. Okay? Here's my second problem. Let's look at this one. So this says negative 13 equals 5 plus 4x minus 6. Okay? So I'm going to look at here first and I'm going to ask myself, is there any distributive property? Remember, distributive property looks like this with the parentheses. I look and say, oh no, there's no distributive property. No distributive property. So I can skip that one. So I'm going to say, hey, can I combine like terms? Well, I look and see there's some terms right here. I'm going to combine those terms together. So let's rewrite this again. So I'm going to combine these terms together. Okay. So I've got 4x minus 6x. So on my calculator, I'm going to put 4 minus 6. That's going to tell me I got negative 2x left over. So I'm going to rewrite it as negative 13 plus negative 2x. Okay. So I know that there was no distributive property. I combined like terms. Now I can put it into my SCF, my organizer, and solve for x. So my start here was 5. My change was negative 2x. And it equals negative 13. Okay, now solving this, I would subtract the 5 over. It's going to give me a negative 18. Negative 13 minus 5, because that's a plus 5. This is time, so I do the opposite of time, so I would divide it. Negative 18 divided by negative 2. That's going to give me my answer to be 9. So my answer there would be 9. Okay? So I just solved a multi-step problem by checking, do I have distributive property? No, I didn't. Do I have combined like terms? Yes, because this is x and x. I'm going to combine them. So I got it into this form, which you can see it matches this right up here. AX plus B equals C. So it matches that. AX plus B equals C. I can put it in my formula, in my organizer, and solve. Okay? Let's look at a couple more here. So this one right here on number 3, I'm going to look at it, and I should know right off the bat that this right here, this part right here is the distributive property. So I'm going to distribute. That's negative 2 times 4. That's negative 8x. Then I'm going to take the negative 2 and multiply it by a negative 3. So negative 2 times negative 3, because that's minus, negative 3 is going to give me plus 6 equals 10. Now that's a two-step problem that I can solve using my formula, my organizer. Start, change, finish. My start is 6. My change is negative 8 times x. My finish is 10. That's a plus, so I need to do the opposite. Bring him over. That gives me 4. And then this right here, negative 8x is times, so the opposite of times is divide. So I'm going to divide because I do the inverse or the opposite. So 4 divided by 8, not 8 divided by 4. 4 divided by 8 is going to tell me my x is going to equal to 0.5. It would be negative 0.5. Okay, so I've got my answer there. All right. Here we go on number 4. Okay, so if I look at this part right here, I look up to the side of my equal, I know this right here is going to be not a distributive, but this will combine like terms. I got 3x and 7x I can put together. 3x plus 7x. So it's going to be 3 plus 7. It's going to give me 10x's minus 8 equals negative 19. I did not combine the 8 with these because the 8 does not have an x. I just combine the things that have the x's. Now this is a two-step problem that I can solve using my organizer. Start, change, and finish. Got my start to be negative 8. My change is 10x. And my finish is the negative 19. Okay, negative 8 is my start. 10x is my change. Negative 19 is my finish. I do the opposite of a minus, which is a plus 8. And that's going to give me negative 19 plus 8 will give me negative 11. And I'm going to divide now by the 10. And that's going to tell me what my answer is going to give me, and I'm going to leave it as negative 1.1. Okay? My answer will be negative 1.1. So that's all the steps you need to do. Okay? Combine like terms, do the distributive property. Whatever it needs to be done, that's how you do those. I'm going to do one more here with you. I'm going to skip to number 6 because I'm going to let you do number 5, 7, and 8 on your own here. Okay? So number 6, I'm going to skip to number 6. If I look at it here, it's written kind of backwards, but I know this right here is the distributive property. So I need to distribute. I do 2 times 8, which gives me 16x. Then I'm going to do 2 times negative 9, which is going to give me negative 18. And I can still put equals 14 if I want to. I can put it there, or I can put it back here. It does not matter. But I did the distributive property. 2 times 8 gives me 16x. 2 times negative 9 gives me negative 18. And it all equals 14. And I can use my start, change, finish. And I can go from there, and I can solve those problems there by doing my start is negative 18, 16x, 14. Alright? Need to add my 18 over. It's going to give me 32. This is 16 times x, so the inverse or the opposite of times is going to be divide. So I'm going to find out my answer is x is going to be named number 2. So there's my answer. Okay, so my answer is done completely. So now I'm good. Alright, so those are how you do it. So you have some examples. You've got 1, 2, 3 examples on that page. You've got 2 more on the other side. So you've got a total of 5 examples. So I want you to do 3 on your own. Okay, you will be responsible to do number 5, 7, and 8. Okay, you want to do 5, 7, and 8. Okay, then you want to, after you do 5, 7, and 8, you want to be able to check those with Mr. O to see if you got those correct or if you have any questions. I will give you a hint. Number 5 is a combine like terms. That's a combine like terms. So find your terms that need to be combined inside those boxes. Number 7 is distributive. And number 8 is the distributive. Okay? So best of luck to them. You'll do fine. Go ahead and try those and see what you know. Thanks.